election workers. It would be a higher cost to the county. We already face challenges seating election workers and clerks and judges, and I think this would further that burden at a time where I think fiscal responsibility should be a priority. This is not just a matter of convenience, it's a matter of ensuring fair and accessible elections for all of McLennan County residents. I urge this court to stand firm in its commitment to countywide polling places, which I'm sure you will, recognizing them as the most voter-friendly, cost-effective, and practical approach to election administration. I respectfully ask that you adopt a resolution opposing any legislative efforts to dismantle this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just got a note that there's no sound on the feed. Okay, all right.
And Judge, I've heard that too. I'm hearing okay, so I don't know where the issue might be, but it is working for some.
Commissioner Perry, can you hear?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right, thank
It's
you.
probably on the YouTube. Yeah, it's on the YouTube side.
All right, next. Back to business. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Patty O'Day, and I am the office manager at the McLennan County Republican Party. And I come here today because I want you to approve this letter or whatever it is you're going to send to our congressmen and senators and ask them to not ban countywide voting. In my position, it is my job to find the election day judges, Republican on the Republican side, and the Democrats do the same thing that I do. And I'm always screaming, needing more people. And 2 years ago, when they raised the amount of polling places from 34 to 46, it took me weeks and weeks to find election judges. But then you also have to find clerks, and there has to be a bilingual person at each polling place. So the other thing is, we have the public comes into our office all the time. They don't know where to vote or how to vote. And we can hand them a piece of paper and said, you can go to any one of these places, and it's easier for them to do, and it's much faster. We get our elections done on election night, which not everybody does that because it's such a good system that we have here. And I asked for permission, and I received permission from the Republican Party, McLennan County Republican Party, to speak on their behalf, and they also support this reversing this ban on this community-wide service. It's also extremely expensive. It's ridiculous. It works really well here, and we hope that you'll support our support.
Thank you.
Oh, and I already called my my state assembly people and my senator, and ask them to vote against this too. Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
My name is Mary Mann, and I live at 518 Redgate Road, 76664. That's marked. How much persuasion do you need, really? And I know you can't respond. However, I can confirm everything that the other three speakers have said. I am the counterpart to Ms. O'Day in the Democratic Party, and for 14 years, I have volunteered to recruit election workers for my party as required by the Texas Election Code. It's your job, and I don't have to tell you what your job is, but I'll remind everyone that a commissioner's duty is to make sure that county citizens have a fair and free election. You approve and appoint the election judges every 2 years. And as Ms. O'Day just said, it's not easy to find people to fill these positions. And the increase did cause us a lot of anxiety and a lot of phone calls. The number of people I've needed to recruit over the years has varied, but this last election, we had over 200 people from the Democratic Party alone working as election judges, clerks, and the nonpartisan bilingual clerks, who we helped recruit to get those as well. For the last election, we also had 23 student election clerks, which is a wonderful program to get our high school seniors, basically, students from the ages of 16 to 18 to participate as workers in the election. The idea for banning countywide voting is one that's come up practically every legislative session in the past 14 years. And it's gotten worse. There are many people who think that it is a good idea. But a lot of old retired people say, no, that's not a good idea because we're tired of working and we need people to help and get in there, and we cannot increase the number of positions that are needed. Salary and, of course, equipment, extra equipment and so forth is a concern of yours in the budget, and you know, I don't think I have to tell you how much it would increase to just go 10 or 12, because not every one of the 91 precincts would be included as a location, because some would be combined due to population, but we've had a big population increase since the last time we had precinct by precinct voting. So we would have more vote centers needed if we went back to it. Finally, the chaos and difficulty of the voters who are used to this system. It's hard enough to get them to come to a regular countywide vote center. And to say, no, you can't come in here, you have to go across town or back to West is ridiculous. So, therefore, I request that you draft a resolution declaring countywide vote centers to be a good thing for voters, county budgets, and fair elections, and further, request any and all bills that do away with countywide voting be opposed by Representatives Orr and Curry and Senator Birdwell. And this is on behalf of the McLennan County Democratic Party and myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, anyone else? Okay. On the agenda, I do have one resolution, not pertaining to this subject, but another one. But Jared, if you'll come forward and be prepared, we'll go to your item next. But in the package, I've got a proclamation recognizing and honoring Honorable Gary Coley, who is retired, and also our administrative judge. I'll present this in court at a later date when we ask him to come and bring some guests here, and then we'll read it in full then. But it's in your package, and so I make a motion we approve that resolution.
Second.
That motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passed. All right, I'd like to go to under item N. I'd like to go to N2, which is discussion or action regarding proposed pending federal legislation, legislative issues, adoption of resolutions and appointments. On the agenda, we have a resolution opposing elimination of countywide polling places program. So, Jared, you have the floor.
Yeah, so first of all, I appreciate all the public speakers coming forward today. I think they kind of stole my thunder on what I was going to say, which is great. So just try to keep this brief. But McLennan County has participated in the countywide polling place program for over a decade now. We've done so successfully. We've had support from both sides of the aisle, as you've seen today. I've never received a negative comment regarding the countywide polling place program. And if this legislation were to pass, it's going to have significant negative consequences in not only McLennan County, but across the state. Many, dozens, in fact, counties have passed a similar resolution, publicly stating that this is a good program. We don't need to get rid of countywide voting. It's popular, it's cost savings, and I hope that McLennan County will do the same. And if you have any questions for me, like I said, I think they've pretty much covered most everything this morning. I'm happy to answer any questions for you.
Okay, do you have a draft of the resolution?
Yes, I do.
If you would, read it into the record.
Sure. Okay, so resolution opposing elimination of countywide polling place program. Whereas McLennan County currently has a population makeup of registered voters who live in both urban and rural areas, and whereas many of our constituents take advantage of their ability to vote on election day in a polling location of their choice through the countywide polling place program, and whereas many of our constituents work away from their residence and use the countywide polling place program as a necessary convenience to vote without having to adjust their work schedules, and Whereas the use of countywide polling place program has only been met with positive feedback from McLennan County's voters, and whereas the use of the countywide polling place program has increased the convenience for voters while also decreased the overall cost of running an election in McLennan County through the decreased need of poll workers, election equipment, election supplies, etc. And whereas the requirement to have precinct-based voting locations in McLennan County where there are no public buildings for use as polling locations in every voting precinct and private facilities are no longer willing to allow the use of their buildings as a polling site will create a significant expense and hardship on McLennan County and its constituents. Whereas, at the time of this resolution, there are several bills pending which seek to eliminate the use of electronic poll books, eliminate electronic marking devices, and eliminate countywide polling places. Whereas, the use of electronic poll books as a necessary component for the countywide polling place program was authorized by the Texas legislature through the Texas Election Code, Section 31.014, and such poll books allow voters to check in through electronic means while confirming their identity through official identification and confirming voters have not already voted via absentee ballot or at another polling location, thus dramatically reducing voter fraud and reducing wait times for voters. Whereas any Texas county using electronic poll books and electronic ballot marking devices are required by statute to obtain approval and certification from the Secretary of State to use such equipment, and such certification must be obtained annually, which confirms the security of the voting process for the public. Whereas the Commissioners Court of McLennan County is of the opinion that regression into precinct-based voting would be a disservice to the voting community, reduce voter turnout, and could disenfranchise a large number of voters. Now therefore, it be resolved that the undersigned election officials do oppose the elimination of countywide polling places and the elimination of electronic poll books by the Texas legislature.
All right, any comments you want to?
Jared, what do you have bill numbers?
I don't have them on me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There's several, and then. No, go ahead.
Probably good if we, each individually wrote Pat and Angela, and,
And I planned on talking to our state representatives as well as the state senator
Okay.
after this. Here's the bill numbers. It's
Okay.
HB 1001, SB 71, 77, and 148.
71.
Yes.
77
and 148.
Those are Senate.
Yes.
The
Yes.
first one was HB.
Yes. Most of it currently is being passed and talked about in the Senate.
Yeah, they're the ones that can act right now.
Yeah.
I was at a conference this past week, and I think there's a little pushback on this from, in our favor, from the larger metro counties where, people have very, very long commutes.
Right.
And whereas they could vote on election day somewhere close to their,
Like where they work
where they work,
Right.
instead of driving, in Harris County, sometimes you can spend up to an hour and a half and both, coming and going.
That's what you get for living there.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I live in Waco, and
But it affects a lot of people in McLennan County as well, because if they live in, say, Crawford or outside, and they're
it's
working-
very right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
So-
I just, I was here when we implemented this, and it seemed to work really well.
It has.
And the judges have been very pleased, even, older judges
Right.
that you think wouldn't be too receptive to the change.
Right.
But even, back in the day, there would be confusion. Somebody would come in and say, well, I've always voted here.
Yeah.
And, well, lines change, things like that.
And when we talk to voters about this program, like I said, not everybody knows or understands that. It's always met with positive receptions. Wow, I can really do this? Absolutely. Like, this is so convenient. This is so helpful,
And there's still a lot of people that don't know they can do that.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's true.
it's still, we got to get it out there more.
I've tried. You know.
I
Well,
know,
we've done a lot in that regard.
but,
Yeah.
I've read up on this too, but what are most of the people that want to do it for? What's their thinking?
As far as like banning countywide,
Yeah,
why would they want to
yeah.
do this? That's a great question. To be honest with you, I think that there are certain actors that just cannot be convinced that the election process is fair and equal. And there's a lot, I think it's a very small minority, but a very vocal group that is trying to make change. And I think they're trying to find a problem that doesn't exist. And this is not a problem. And it's
obviously very partisan here in our county, and we're all on the
exactly. I
same
mean,
page.
how often do you have something that's bipartisan anymore?
Yeah.
That has bipartisan support? And it's kind of bewildering, to be perfectly honest.
Would you say that so the security, the poll book system, is that certified by the state also too, like the voting, like the
Yes.
voting machine?
Yes, it is. Yeah, they recently started certifying, the Secretary of State recently
So
started
the
certifying.
state is
this.
actually saying that these electronic poll books are safe.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. And I have 100% faith in the poll books that we're using here.
Uh-huh.
The fact that we have live voter data, when a voter checks in, we know if they voted elsewhere already. And there are so many safeguards here. There's just no reason to go back.
Any other comments? All right. What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
I appreciate this so much, and like I said,
Y'all,
I'm going to share this
appreciate
as
y'all
soon as
coming.
possible.
The public comments, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Thank you.
All right. Okay. I'd like to jump to the consent agenda. The recommended pulls on the consent agenda, I just have one recommended pull, that's E3A, which is HR matter for the McLennan County Jail. Are there any other pulls recommended by the court? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of that pull previously mentioned?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. And I want to hold that. I'll come back to you in a second. I'd like to go to item K3. This is regarding the Texas Division on Emergency Management Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Planning Program, authorization of commodity flow studies grant application submission. So is Tim online?
I'm here, Judge, and I can walk you through it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. So what this grant is for is a hazardous material community flow study is kind of what it sounds like. It studies the flow of hazardous materials through the county, whether that be by rail or by truck or by pipeline. It's been some time since we've done one, and what this grant does is allows the Texas Division of Emergency Management to do one for us, and then we get the results of that study for implementation if we choose. What makes this different than most grants is we apply for it and the state gets the money and then the state hires the contractor. So there is no pass through the county. So it does take that off of our hands, and that's a good thing.
Okay. All this feeds into a larger database that across the state under major highways or pipelines and those kind of things. So we have good. Okay. Any questions anyone would have? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the grant application.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. All right, I'd like to go to continuing to jump around to item N1. This is with Amy Lowry, discussion or action regarding the resolution changing DWI and drug court name to McLennan County Recovery Court. Amy, you available? Good morning. Can't hear you, Amy. Okay, we'll come back to you. Okay? All right, Anna, let's go to that, back to that pulled item under the consent agenda. It'd be item E3A, HR matter for the McLennan County Jail.
Yes. Good morning.
Morning.
So I have here a request from the jail to fill a vacancy prior to the exhaustion of PTO that exiting employee had on the books. This is a jailer lieutenant position. It's position 1292. It'll be vacant as of the end of this month, February 28th. But it's not set to exhaust PTO until April 11th. And they request the ability to fill this vacancy as soon as March 2nd. This position actually is responsible for the personnel division at the sheriff's office. And so they review and process all of the position changes for that whole organization before it gets filtered to HR. So it would help HR as well in this situation. So we recommend it for approval.
Okay, and then, these, of course, these are what's called a contingent liability, on, from the financial side of it. And not speaking specifically to the jail, but, we feel like we're managing those days and, amount of contingent liability that we would have on an employee when it comes to, especially those close to retirement.
Yes, we have our maximum, our limits to our time off banks that are in place, and I feel like they've been working well. These PTO balances that are getting paid out, they're only PTO. The county doesn't pay out family
Yeah,
medical leave
okay.
bank, and then it also pays out comp time on an annual basis, so that doesn't accrue to large liabilities anymore as well, so.
Okay, appreciate that.
How long have we been using the program where we were able to eliminate a lot of the comp time by paying it out at the end of each year? Have we had time yet to study, to see how that compares on a yearly basis to how long we've been implementing this program?
My plan was to review the PTO program as a whole, just for this
Good.
next upcoming budget session, because we have a couple years on the books now with the
Okay.
program in place. And so that would include that alteration that was made after implementation, so I could include that as well.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the request.
Second.
All right, a motion. Second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
All right, Amy, were you able to get your sound back on? Justin, do you know if that issue's being resolved?
Judge, I think she was working on it. She may be rebooting, but I can, if you want me to, I can handle that item, or we
Yeah.
can wait.
Okay, let's do it.
And it's in one, and I think it's just a change, just a broader change from that DWI drug court to the recovery court, because it
Right.
is a little bit broader and just focused on those individuals. So
Okay. All right, I don't see an issue unless anybody else on the court has any thoughts on it.
No.
Are all the judges on board with this?
I don't know. I would think.
I would imagine so, Commissioner. I don't know if they've polled everybody, but I will message Amy and see.
Okay,
Well, recovery sounds a whole lot better than
Yeah.
DWI and
Yeah.
drug court.
yeah,
Anything positive like that.
I don't want to be a stick in the mud here, but it's been the DWI court since I've been on the, I mean, is this like, are we lumping them all in? I know that there's been some consolidation,
yeah, there's been quite a bit,
which is a good thing. Hopefully it's more efficient.
right. And,
We're working well. In that case, then there's no reason to not, move forward with the name change.
So there's still that separation, but Judge Swanton is handling the mental health court, the Veterans Treatment Court, and now the DWI drug court. So there's still those three separate courts just handled by one judge. But as you said, Commissioner, it is streamlined with Amy and her team managing those processes as well.
And so the DWI is still handled by the county court at law,
No, sir, it is handled by Judge Swanton as well.
Swanton.
So all
Swanton?
three of
Okay, I
the
guess I didn't hear it.
specialty courts.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and, yeah, Judge Devin Agam still, helps and weighs in on it. and
Okay.
He's the foremost authority, I think. So, is we good to go forward, or?
You
we
bet.
asking-
Motion to approve the resolution changing the name to the McLennan County Recovery Court.
All right,
I second that.
all right, have motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Pass. All right, going to items G4. This is regarding the industrial business grant amended and restated industrial business grant agreement with Zinc Power, Waco Incorporated, authorization of grant payment. Dustin, are you covering this?
Yes, sir. Chris isn't able to join us this morning, so we had entered into an industrial business grant with Zinc Power, and the city of Waco has already made this payment. The chamber has reviewed it as well. Francis has reviewed as well, so she can add anything. Essentially, they have paid their real and personal property taxes. On the real property side, it is a 90% grant. They had paid 54,651 in real property, and then on the personal property side, it is a 20% grant of the taxes where they paid 82,889. So it's a total request of $65,764.31. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval, and they did meet those metrics that are required by the business grant.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to approve the grant payment to Zinc Power?
So, second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Okay. Going to, item F, under bids, RFPs, RFQs. Under F1 is authorization of structural cabling quote from Extraco Technologies on the facility at 1211 Washington Avenue. TJ, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, so before you have the quote from Extraco, these are those additional lines that will be needed in order to get all the IT personnel over into the new facility. So we've reviewed it. John's taken a look at it as well, and we recommend it for approval.
All right, any questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to approve the quote?
Motion to approve the quote. Second.
All right, motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right, under F2, authorization and recommendations. Under F2A is regarding the bid 25001. This is a corrugated steel and concrete or polypropylene culverts. So Ken?
Yes, sir. We actually only received two bids, one bid on the polypropylene and one bid on the metal galvanized corrugated culverts. We have all the breakdown in your notes for these items, and so I'd go ahead and recommend that McLennan County grant the award for corrugated steel culverts and galvanized culverts to Wilson Culvert, Inc., and for the polypropylene culverts and bands to Advanced Drainage Systems.
No relation, right?
No, sir.
Okay.
I would have to sign that form, right?
You do things in squares, not in rounds?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any questions for Ken? If not, is there a motion to approve the recommendation from our side?
Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Pass. Under F2B is regarding the bid 25.002 of the crushed limestone, riprap, and crushed fines. Mr. Bass?
Yes, sir. Again, we have kind of a breakdown of the prices for the items. We received bids from Mine Services, Central Crushed Concrete, Connor's Crushed Stone, Knife River, Also, and again, we have a breakdown in your notes of those items, and we would recommend that the crushed limestone flex space be awarded for pickup to Mine Services, Central Crushed Concrete, Connors Crushed Stone, and Knife River. On those items delivered to Knife River. On stone riprap, we recommend pickup. We recommend Central Crushed Concrete, Connors Crushed Stone, Knife River. For delivery, we recommend Knife River. For limestone crusher fines, we recommend Mine Services, Inc. This is on the pickup, Connors Crushed Stone and Knife River, and then on their delivery, Knife River. And that we recommend award that way.
Ken, how come the prices are so much different on the crushed stone? Is it,
Location of pits,
is it, okay.
yes.
That's on the delivery. If it's delivered, then they're gonna put in the freight and
Yeah.
the distance is the driver.
Yeah, and again, on the pickup, I mean, it's just, I guess, where they're working and what kind of limestone that they have. I can't answer that specifically.
Okay. Any other questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the recommendation.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. F2 Cs regarding the bid 25-003 pit run gravel pickup and load. Ken?
Yes, sir, we received responses from Arcosa Aggregates, Central Crushed Concrete, Green Dream International, and Mine Services, and I would recommend award for a pickup to Mine Services, Central Crushed Concrete, Arcosa Aggregates, and Green Dream. And and again, we award all based on pricing and availability location.
All right, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
So move.
I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. Under F3 is authorization of renewal of bid 23-007. This is printed envelopes, letterhead, et cetera. Ken?
Yes, sir. We contacted Trigger at Furman's, and he's willing to keep the prices the same as last year. So we recommend renewing our bid with on the letterhead and envelopes.
All right. Any questions? If not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Under F4, authorization of quotes from GTS Technology Solutions. David?
Yes, Commissioners, this is a computer that is for our human trafficking investigators. We had originally entered a budget for this year that was slightly under the capital cap. And the IT has reviewed that, and they have made a recommendation that's a little bit more. So in coordination with the IT department, we've come up with a solution, and that solution is to get this computer that's in this quote. Also, the letter will detail that we want to take some of the money and move the money that we had allotted for it to capital outlay, and then IT is going to subsidize the remaining amount that wasn't directly budgeted for.
Okay. All right, any questions?
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. Under G is contracts and interlocal agreements and memorandums of understanding. This is G1 under authorization of road use agreement with Jaguar Solar And so, Zane? Good morning.
So this item has been deferred a couple of times, and it's still before the court to make a decision whether they want to approve this road use agreement for the solar power. Actually, it's the battery storage system by PP Jaguar. I don't know if anything has transpired in the last 2 weeks, but it's up to the court to approve it. It's recommended for approval.
Well, I think I brought up a couple of things. That one was they eliminated the responsibility on some roads that they may travel that aren't the main roads, and that we would want them responsible for that. The other thing is, I think I mentioned that I was not comfortable with their recommendation on what to do with the road. What I was wishing or hoping that engineering office would come up with specs and guidelines on what we expect what those roads need to be brought to, not just roads, but also crossings as well.
I did have a meeting with Scott Calley, and he said that there's 2.4 million set aside to completely bring it up to our specifications and replace all the bridges on the roads. I've also provided Dustin a set of specifications to list in any document that will basically bring it up to county road specifications.
Okay, so I think Commissioner Wilson and myself and maybe your department get back together and try to finalize this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what 2.5 million means. If it ends up costing 3.5 million, that's a problem. If it costs $1.5 million, that's different. So
Yeah, they spoke of a whole lot more money amount when they came to my office, so that's something we probably need to look at.
Yeah.
You know, because it's.
we could take the deal if we knew we could get it done for that. But
Yeah, because the guardrails on Elk Road are just, they've been destroyed and it's not, they weren't like that till the solar farm got there, so.
Okay. The other thing you just said, this is agreement for the battery side. I thought the battery side was using the old agreement, and they're looking for a new agreement for the solar construction.
So the solar construction has one. It's the SP, and then they changed their name to PP, and so they assigned the rights to them. And then they wanted to do the battery storage correct on the other side of the road under the PP name. And they were signed there, since it's all basically the same company, they assigned the rights to that battery storage company. And the battery storage company wanted a separate road use agreement, did not want the assigned agreement. And so that's what this is about.
Right, okay.
Is Scott working with both companies?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is, yes, I thought he was.
So we already have one agreement in place regarding the solar farm itself.
Yeah,
That's
so,
correct.
yeah,
This
so,
is strictly for the additional battery storage.
right.
Okay.
So, yeah, so those numbers, I don't know if he was talking about the first agreement,
Yeah.
with the solar farm is what the number was a lot different than that, so. And we just need to sit down at the table with them and.
Okay, I'll set up a time to do that.
Yes, sir.
And then, the other thing that concerned me is they said when completed.
Right,
What if that's 10 years from now?
yeah.
Well, the current agreement says that if we at any time feel that they need to go and maintain the roads, we can direct them to do so at their cost.
Well, they are, blading the roads now, Zane, just like they are, but,
Are they going all the way to the county line?
yes, sir,
Okay, good.
yeah. But it's still got a lot of, there's a lot of heavy trucks coming down through there
Yeah,
on
I
a
know.
daily
Yeah.
basis. This morning when I was out there, I drove down there and there were tons of trucks coming in and out already.
Yeah.
so. And when they're empty, they're coming out, back toward Bellmead on the loop, but when they're
Right.
full, they have to go down and come around.
So you know where where Vica Road is and it hits into 31, when it comes across and goes to Elk, is that still Vica? Or is
Yes, south and north of Vica.
Okay, is that one of the roads included? Is
It is, but they're not supposed to be on South Vica. And they did damage South Vica. I think it was a different company
Yeah,
that
well,
damaged.
when Google, those truckers.
I know,
They're
yeah.
following Google, and so we can't control that, so they need to be responsible for that road.
Yeah, even if you put no trucks allowed, no through trucks, that's something to shoot BB guns at, because they're not paying attention to that.
Okay. Okay, I'll set up a meeting where we can try to get this thing finalized.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so I'll make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Zane.
Okay. See, where are we on that? Dustin, you go to the next one?
Yes, sir. So item G2 is authorization of agreement with GILA LLC, doing business as Municipal Services Bureau. This item needs to be deferred.
Motion to defer.
Second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass.
G3 is authorization of interlocal cooperative agreement with City of Crawford for ditch work. Commissioner Perry? And,
Yeah, this will be our
sorry,
standard. One of our retirees went out and started working with them, trying to get their roads up to snuff and par right now. And this is just an agreement between the city of Crawford and us to do some ditch work.
All right, and you would make a motion to approve that.
Yes, sir. Motion to approve.
I'll second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Right, moving down to item G5, authorization of service agreement with CTWP. This is for an elections office copier. This agreement annual cost is $378.19, and this does go along with a budget amendment that is on the agenda.
Right. All right, I make a motion, we approve service agreement with CTWP.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. And G6, go ahead.
It's the authorization of customer service agreement with RW Lone Star Security for shredding services for the Jaguar Detention Center. Ken?
Yes, sir. This is the same price as last year. It's just a continuation of our agreement for shredding at Jack Harwell.
Same price.
Same price.
All right, I would make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
G7 is authorization of pricing supplement agreement with TransUnion Risk and Alternative Data Solutions for searches reports for the Sheriff's Office. Major Ives or Ken?
If David's on, I prefer him doing it.
I'm sorry. So this is our TLO agreement. This is an investigative tool used by our CID department and other divisions, and this is for, there's no increase. It's something that we've done for quite some number of years, and there's been no increase in the cost of this service.
Okay. All right, any questions for David? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
G8 is authorization of service order agreement with Astound Business Solutions for internet service for 1211 Washington Avenue. John?
Morning.
So this is in preparation for us moving to 1211, the IT department. We need to bump up the internet there now that we're going to have 23 people in the building. This is represents an increase from 100 meg to 1,000 meg, which would match all the other central facilities down here. It does increase it $470 to $1,000 per month. That would be an ongoing charge. We are leaving the phone system at 50 megs, so we think that's plenty for us. And has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? Freedom of request, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
G9 is authorization of contract for services with Greater Waco Collective Impact Initiative doing business as Prosper Waco. We're still working on this. This is for the behavioral health leadership team that we approved last year. It would be a renewal, but like I said, we're still working. So if we can defer it, we'll bring it back next court session.
I make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under item H, capital improvement and construction projects, H1s regarding Chapel Road improvements, bid 23-013, agreement with Kasperian Underground, doing business as H&B Contractors, authorization of change order number 3. Zane?
Yes, sir. So this change order is for $14,838.15. It's to build an additional concrete driveway that was not included in the original plans. Has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under item I, budget amendments, I1s regarding the FY24 budget. Francis?
Thank you. So we do have one cleanup budget amendment for 24 today. Just briefly, I'll go through some of the categories that are included in this adjustment. A large amount of the line items are personnel line items. And so a lot of times they're budgeted for, just not budgeted in the correct line. So we need to make some adjustments. You'll see some small amounts, like the top two lines, $25, $22. The people that are being paid out of those line items didn't get overpaid. It's just based on the accrual entry that we have to do at year end. So sometimes we don't have exactly 26 pay periods. We have 26.1 or 26.2. So it's just cleaning up those lines between the 2 years where the expense falls. We also have a couple of line items that are being cleaned up due to the fact that we filled a position before leave time was exhausted or there was overlap in the positions. So we wait usually and see where those fall at year end. There's also some adjustments between the 2 correctional facility departments. And so in some line items, we budget just in the jail, on the jail side, and then balance those out between Jack Harwell and Highway 6 at year end once we know where the exact expenditures will fall. Bilingual pay, of course, we always adjust that at year end. We budget for it all in one line item and then disperse it to departments based on exact expenditures through the year. There's a section of line items related to health insurance premiums. When we are budgeting each year, it's always very difficult to know how many employees will choose the high deductible plan or the other plan. And so with a high amount of employees that have moved to the high deductible plan, of course, that involves an HSA contribution from the county. Right. And so that amount of employees has increased more than we expected. And so we need to adjust those lines as well. Of course, we'll take that into account as we enter budget discussions for this next year. And then there are a couple of lines you'll see at the very bottom on the increases section. They say debt service payments. We budget amounts for lease payments and for software-based arrangement payments throughout the budget. But then at year end, we have to convert those to a principal and interest type payment. And so, again, that's something that's budgeted for. We're just reclassing it to a different line item for accounting purposes for financial reporting. And so any questions on that before I move on to 2025?
Any questions? And this, compared to prior years, everything seems to be, there's nothing highly unusual or that stands out. These are pretty much each year we do this, and
that's correct.
Yeah. Any questions up till now at this point?
So do we need a separate motion to approve the recommendation on the 24 budget cleanup? If that's the only 24 budget we have item?
Yes, sir.
Does that need to be handled separately or?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep moving and you can vote on all of them at the same time if you like. So then I'll move to I2, which is budget amendments for 2025. I2A1, this is a certification of revenue for a group of donations that was received by the Specialty Courts Department. They total $1,450. And then there is an attached budget amendment that goes along with that that request. The requested increase is to a supplies line item, which would allow specialty courts to purchase incentives for their court programs. I2A2, we need to defer that one today.
I'll make a motion, we defer.
Second.
Have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass. Continue, please.
Thank you. I2B, this is general fund for 19th District Court, and they are requesting to move within the department from special prosecutors to professional development. And we need to make an adjustment to that document that's in your packet. It should be a $4,000 increase and a $4,000 decrease between those line items. I2C1, this is general fund capital outlay. This was related to the computer item on F4 that you just approved. A computer that was less than the capital outlay amount was included in the budget, but the need now is for an amount greater than $5,000. So we've moved those amounts into capital outlay. It's being funded through the sheriff's office and the IT furniture and equipment lines. I2C2, this is general fund sheriff. This is moving an amount for some software related cost from repair and maintenance into software licensing. And again, as I talked about, the software-based arrangements, sometimes that's hard to know until we get the actual invoice and the actual cost. So that's moving that into software licensing. And then there's also an additional amount for other costs related to software licensing that will occur during this fiscal year. I2D, this is general fund for elections. This is a request to move from their repair and maintenance into furniture and equipment to purchase a needed copier for their department. I2E, this is Fund 150 Court Reporter Service Fund. This is a request from Judge Bennett, 474th, to increase the software licensing and support line for software annual renewal related to a court reporter. So again, this isn't a special revenue fund. I2F, this is Fund 401, our permanent improvement fund. This is the budget amendment to set up the line item for the underground fuel storage tank removal behind the courthouse. You approved this project on the last agenda. I2G, this is Fund 418, which is our venue project construction fund. We talked about this on the last agenda, but this sets up the two line items where we pay a portion of our obligation to the city of Waco and to Waco ISD. I2H, this is Fund 421, our 2021 bond proceeds. This is moving from contingencies in that fund into the line item for South Old Bruceville Road. And this was increased cost related to construction materials testing that will be done by Langerman Engineering. I2I, this is General Fund Information Technology. They're requesting to move, a request to move from the countywide contingencies into their department into other services and charges. And this is related to the move to 1211 Washington. And this was the item, the cabling quote that was just approved today on the prior agenda item. I2J, this is Road and Bridge Precinct 2 in the general fund. They are purchasing 2 Dodge trucks. And so this is increasing within their department to accommodate the total cost of that purchase. And then I2K, this is General Fund Road and Bridge 1. And this is to move also within that department into other services and charges for some increased cost in uniform rentals and some additional costs for rental fees. And that concludes the 2024 and 2025 budget amendments.
Okay, if there's not any questions, are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve I1A plus I2 through I2K with the exception of the deferred item, which is I2A2.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
All right, we have nothing under item J this week. Moving on to item K, grants, grant proposals. K1 is our ARPA discussion. I don't have anything specific on it other than an item on K1A is regarding the professional services agreement with BKD, Forvis Mazars authorization of grant management service invoice through January 2025. This invoice totals $4,566.14. It has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay, any questions? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve the invoice from Farvis?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
And there is one other ARPA item. It's K1B. It's regarding the subrecipient agreement with the City of Lorena, authorization of draw request number 2, final. Francis?
Yes, so this is the final draw request for the subrecipient agreement with the City of Lorena, and it is funded through ARPA grant funds. This last request is $93,235. Their total project, just to remind you, was $225,000. So this will close out that project.
Okay, any questions? Not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass.
K2 is recording a fiscal year 2025 Consolidated Local Central Services 2 CFR 200 cost allocation plan and indirect cost rate proposal. Francis?
So this is a federal requirement. We have an indirect cost rate that is calculated by an outside party. So this is the recording of that rate calculation and related documents.
All right, any questions? Is there a motion to accept the cost allocation plan and indirect cost rate proposal?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Pass.
Right, moving down to item K4 regarding the Bureau of Justice Assistance Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant JAG program and related interlocal agreement with the City of Waco, authorization of the county's portion of the grant award. Major Ives.
This is just the acceptance of the grant that we had previously run through court to apply for through the subsidiary that we do every year for the City of Waco. So this is just the finalization of that.
All right, any questions? Not, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the grant award.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
K5 is regarding the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Title IV-E grant, authorization of contracts. K5A is for child welfare services and K5B is for legal services. Francis?
Yes, so these are just like Dustin read, contracts for Title IV-E, related funding for both child welfare services and for legal. I know we are waiting on a couple of, with some questions for the state, and we needed some information from them to finish out the information. But they should be good to go other than that. So if you want to approve today, pending the receipt of that other information, we can move forward.
All right, any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the contract for legal services.
Second.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Pass.
Under item L, Department Office Specific Requests, L1 is Constable Precinct 5, Authorization of Facebook Account Request. I don't know if Chief Klanica is in the courtroom or online.
Can we back up just 1 second, Dustin? My
Yes, sir.
motion was for the legal services. Does there need to be a separate motion for the contract for child welfare services, which was K5A?
If it wasn't clear in your motion, I'd say go ahead and do it.
Probably,
Yeah.
don't you think so?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my motion would be to approve the contract for child welfare services as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah. Opposed? Thank you. Pass.
All right, moving on to L1, Constable Precinct 5, Authorization of Facebook Account Request. I don't know if anybody from Precinct 5 is in court or online. If not, Chief Klanica had reached out a couple weeks ago about creating this Facebook account. The primary purpose is to utilize Facebook Messenger as another avenue for delivery of service, which is allowed. I believe Constable Precinct 1 has an account for a similar purpose. So it's just before court for y'all's decision on whether or not to create this Facebook account.
So if there needs to be service to an individual, they can look and see if they have a Facebook account and then notify them through Messenger or through.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And that qualifies under the Rule 106 method of service. It's in any other manner, including electronically, by social media, email, or other technology that the statement or other evidence shows will be reasonably effective to give the defendant notice of a suit.
Is it clear what they can't do with that account? No. Like,
I think they said they will make a post to keep the account active, which would be in compliance with our policy on social media accounts. So they've specified they will do that, and they will limit the number of authorized users. So they said they will follow any IT and HR policies on the matter.
okay, I don't have an issue with that. I just want to be sure it's clear that policies.
Yeah, I want to make sure that IT is on top of it totally,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
It'll be included in the archiving and all that stuff we do for all the other
Okay.
social media.
And, it can't be used for, I always think about using them for political purposes rather than for what's it's intended to be, so we need to, I guess we watch those kind of things. So who monitors that?
Who monitors content?
The actual department responsible, so in this case, the Constable Fund.
Okay, but do y'all do periodic reviews of these Facebook accounts to make sure they're in compliance?
We have the archiving that actually archives all the data, but it's for the content. So it's up to each department, same as it is on the webpage.
That's self-monitoring and nothing against Precinct 5. I trust them totally, but I don't know if that's, I worry a little bit about self-monitoring.
That may be something we might want to revisit at some point about.
There's a problem, it ends up right here.
Yeah, the liability involved is going to fall back on our shoulders for
That's something
anything.
to talk about, we just haven't done that today.
Yeah, that's something we definitely need to discuss.
Just be sure we're clear on it, and like I say, I appreciate their Precinct 5 looking at better ways to get service delivered, but I'd make a motion we defer, but how do we, I don't want to defer it and then nothing happen on it, so the question would be, I guess, Dustin, come up with a plan for who needs to be in the discussion. But isn't there other, I know
there's other Facebook
Health
accounts.
Services has,
Health Services.
A lot of them have the Facebook pages.
The Sheriff's Department and then jail have one.
Well, they said Precinct 1, Constable has one.
Sheriff's Office.
I don't have a problem with approving it. I'd just like to know, going forward, if we could come up with some method of monitoring it. I'm not talking about sitting there and looking at it all the time, but periodic assessment of what's there and to make sure we're in compliance.
so I withdraw my motion to defer, and if y'all are okay, we can take action on it. But if we need to have a broader discussion on
John,
all,
can,
Judge,
yes.
Judge, could we have an oversight group? I know we make committees, and I know sometimes we think that, but they're not used, but an oversight committee might be good in this situation.
I mean, do we have the authority to tell somebody what it is that they can or cannot put on this?
If it's a county,
I don't know. I mean, if
Facebook.
they're an elected official, I don't know that we can necessarily say you know,
if they use taxpayer money,
I mean, we can cut their funding for it off, but I don't know that we can necessarily say, you.
I see what you're
you
saying.
You can't put X, Y, Z. Now, I would assume that if there is some egregious, total, really something bad on there that, it could, we could have the right to, strongly suggest that they pull that down because they're reflecting on that. On the
If
county.
it brings
I do think
liability
it would.
to the county, does that not change it though?
say it again, Commissioner.
If it brings liability to the county, I just think there needs to be some oversight of some level that distinguishes what's over, what is liability to the county and what's fair.
And I think it would be a balance, because the way I understand, like this one specifically would be created under it would be a personal account, but it has to be approved by the county. So then I think that does give the county, it needs to be in compliance with our social media policy. So we can revisit it and revisit with Mike about the First Amendment type concerns and what authority we would do. But I would think if it was something, like Commissioner Jones said that was egregious, the court has the ability to pull that account approval for that creation of that account. So I think we would have some leeway there. So
I would imagine the biggest risk or the biggest violation would be some elected official putting political things on there and where, nobody gets 100% of the vote. And so there's going to be some folks out there that would take offense to it. Which using taxpayer money for, it's clear you can't do that.
Right.
But we have a social media policy in place, and this Facebook account would have to comply with that social media policy, correct, Anna?
Yes.
And so at that point, where then is the follow-up to see if there is compliance or continued compliance with the social media policy? Once it's implemented, is there any mechanism in place now to determine that it conforms to and continues to conform to social media policy? No?
There is not.
So basically, we're just going on if somebody complains.
I think that's what we've got to look at, is a
It probably wouldn't hurt.
compliance model of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So,
How many are there? How many accounts are there? How many official Facebook accounts do we have?
I don't know the answer to that sitting here, but we can get that to you.
Ballpark,
5 or 6, maybe
5 or 6 right now?
possibly 7 or 8 or 9.
Okay.
There aren't that.
okay.
Just to answer that a little bit, in cities, they have a PIO position, a public information officer. Those are the kind of things that we might want to think about as a county if we start talking about this, having some sort of centralized authority, if you will. Or committee, that works too.
Okay.
All right.
What's the pleasure of the court?
Well, I don't want to deny the right, if we have other departments are doing it right now, they certainly, I think, deserve that opportunity, so.
Got a motion?
My motion would be to approve the request.
Second.
All right, I have a motion. Second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass.
item L2, information technology, approval of order accepting a monetary donation. John?
What is that?
So this is just a request to accept a $2,650 donation for our Challenge Coin initiative. And this would just be if you're familiar with Challenge Coins, they would be handed out to try to bolster the cybersecurity program, just try to help with compliance, get people to complete their training, get people to be more aware of all cybersecurity threats out there. Has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Questions?
Motion to approve the order accepting the monetary donation.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thanks.
L3 is Constable Precinct 1, authorization of cell phone request. Ken?
Yes, we've had a request for additional cell phone in Constable One's office. They've kind of had one that rotates around for different people that sit in there. This would be a phone dedicated to stay remaining in that office to receive information from outlying deputies.
It's a way to send pictures, text, whatever they need to do. I
Yes, sir,
understand
and
that.
it would remain in that
But
office.
there's already been one in there.
Well, it's been the Constable Strickland's phone, but he's going to be out more and carrying his phone with him.
He's gonna be out more than he has been.
That's because of the new systems they have where you need your phone. He's going to need his phone.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I mean, I followed up on this and found out the reason why, and I certainly agree that it's needed. The only comment I would have, and I beat this dead horse to death, is budget time. Request during budget time, please, not during the year after the budget's set. That's kind of a broad statement to everyone, by the way.
Got it? Clear. All right, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pass.
L4, Specialty Court, authorization of order accepting donations under the local government code. There's a list of those donations in your packet, and it is recommended for approval.
All
And
right,
these would go to the Specialty Court program.
all right. Any questions on that? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
All right, if we can hold the department head reports and drop down to item N, and sorry, I'm scrolling down to it.
To what, in what?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I'm scrolling down. I
Oh.
believe it'll be item N2. We've already taken care of N1.
Yeah.
N2.
Sorry, I'm still getting there. N2 is, and we've already taken care of it, the issue with Jared. So N3 is regarding the Information Technology Policy and Procedures Handbook, authorization of update to prohibited technology security policy, document number ITP-2121. John?
So this is just an update to our prohibited technology security policy, IT-P-2101. We'd originally, the court had approved it on October, I forgot the date, but in October. And the governor came out on the 31st with an expanded list of banned technologies. So all this is doing is updating Appendix A, which just updates the list of technologies that are banned. Has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we have nothing under item O this week. Under item P, McLennan County Downtown Jail Remodel Project. P1's regarding the construction manager at risk agreement with John W. Irwin, general contractor. P1A is authorization of application for partial payment number 2. And they submitted this pay app totaling $691,460. It has been reviewed by our team as well as the architect and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion and And a second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
P2 is regarding McLennan County Downtown Jail remodel, RFQ 21-011, agreement with Brinkley Sergeant Wigington, authorization of invoice number 27. This invoice totals $59,031.25. It has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass.
P3 is authorization of agreement quote with Solid IT Networks for rerouting of fiber lines. TJ?
Yes, so after further investigation, we found that our main fiber line actually runs from the IT building through the basement of the downtown jail and attaches into the annex in the courthouse. Well, with all the demolition that we've got going on down in the basement, it's pretty crucial that we get that piece of the puzzle out of the way so we don't bring anybody down technology-wise. So this quote is to relocate the line through IT, through our building, into the basement of the courthouse and re-tie into the annex. So John has reviewed this. His group is good with it. We've reviewed it. We're good with it. We do recommend it for approval. It's a pretty crucial piece to continuing the demolition downstairs.
All right, any questions?
I certainly agree that that's something we don't want to cut into, but how does that meet the bid threshold, or how does that work, Ken?
They're on a DIR contract.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to make sure that,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
okay. Motion to approve the, quote.
All right, I'll second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass.
All right, Judge, you ready to move back to the department head reports, or do you want to
Yeah,
take a break?
let's take a recess. Let's take a 5-minute recess.
I think I'll just start driving everywhere.
It's Trump's fault. Thinking about driving to.
Yeah, they already blaming it.
I know, they're blaming Trump.
I don't want to be on that when it lands upside down, I know that.
Well, it stayed together though.
That's amazing. No one killed.
Did a wind gust flip it or something?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they were showing.
the guy said it didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I got a feeling that the right side landing gear collapsed.
Oh, yeah.
Because they said it hit real hard.
The reason why is because the decline was much steeper than it's supposed to be. They said even the jets that land on ships
Ships have
do
more than-
not have that steep.
It looked like to me when they got a video out now from another showing it.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like when he hits, it probably breaks and then it slides over on that wing and it breaks the wing and just floats.
The wing broke and that was all there was to it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that's just what it looked like to me on the video. Because he coming in smooth. I mean, it was steep, but it wasn't doing all kind of crazy stuff.
Captain, if I were to fly with you, I'm really gonna be watching the decline, the rate of decline. No,
Our landing gear, you know,
Yeah.
it's good.
I just don't wanna run into anything like the United States.
I had when Mr. Wells, with like a 4-seater in front, you know. I used to fly with him, take pictures of crash scenes, and then he crashed that one out there, and I got called to it. And big boys came out there, you know, where's the pilot at? I said, he's over there. Mr. Wells looked at me, I said, he's intoxicated. You know, boy, he never let me live that down.
Oh, Lord.
I love to give him the Dickens.
Oh, I know, he was a good fun man.
I always made a point that he was shorter than I was.
He loved to take us flying, I tell you.
Recording in progress.
Okay, let's call court back in session. Sorry it took a little longer than we thought. Hopefully that gave department heads a little time to get their story straight. And so, as usual, I'm going to make a comment before we go in, is it's to the department heads. We appreciate the reports and especially all the detail in it. We've all had a chance to look at these. There's not a need to go into line by line, but we do want you to bring up any significant things that's happening, any change in trends that might cause concern or good news. We like good news. And one of the primary things that we try to do with these department head reports is to give us an opportunity to have a kind of a discussion relationship on what you do, but also to be able to help you where you need help. And so always take this opportunity to bring up things that the court could do to help you do your job, provide service to the community. And also encourage the Commissioners Court members to ask questions anywhere in the report, during the report, or after the report. We need to, really get something out of it, and we always do. We just want to be efficient with our time and effort on it. So, with that, going to items, I believe we go to items M. This is, first one is juvenile probation, the monthly activity report. I do not believe Mr. Coker is on line. Is that right, Dustin?
That's right, Judge.
So the report's there, that he encourages us to look at these reports and give him a call if there's any specific questions or anything that we want to report next time that's not on the report this time. So with that, I would make a motion, we approve his report for recording purposes.
Dustin, I just want to make I want to make one comment about this department. They are very much at the whim of the legislature. It seems like they're always, going back and forth on that threshold. And
yeah.
So if he has any concerns about pending legislation, would you have him maybe send us a memo or something like that?
Sure will. I'll reach out to him right now, Commissioner.
Because he seems to stay on top of that stuff.
He
like that.
does, and, you know, he reports to the Board of Judges, so you might also include at least the administrative judge, if there's any legislation that they want us to support or oppose. All right, I've made a motion for recording purposes.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Oppose? Pass. All right, next is M2, Engineering Monthly Activity Report. Zane?
Yes, sir. So things are going well in the engineering department. We have a number of projects construction projects that have completed. Most of them are low water crossing projects. We have a number of projects that are either low water crossing or bridge projects that we're currently trying to negotiate the easements and right-of-way to purchase necessary to build those structures. Chapel Road is our big road project that's currently ongoing, and it's going well. It's about 50% completed. About 80% of the water line is done, and about 30% of the roadway portion is done. It's going well. We have a number of bridge projects that will be on the state DOT, TxDOT's bridge program, but those won't kick into green light until probably 2029, 2030, somewhere around there. We got a couple of projects that are in the infantile beginnings, kind of looking at what could be done. And then we got a couple of projects that are just getting started, such as Fern Valley Road, low water crossing, and South Old Bruceville Road, creek crossing. And then we're constantly trying to close up one of the dam projects in Casman Creek. And another one in Twackana Creek is still getting designed by the NRCS. So that's pretty much what's going on in the engineering department. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
On Chapel Road, there's still meetings of the neighborhoods out there. I always, Commissioner Perry and I talk about, it's the same people, but they're kind of leaders in the community that bring up issues, but they do complement a lot, the contracting company and those kind of things. But has there been any meetings, Commissioner Perry or Zane, that have been held or we need to hold?
Judge, there's been one scheduled for next week. We're trying to get Walker Partners and the Casparian Underground folks at the same time. But yes, there is a meeting being scheduled for next week. Okay,
good. All right. Well, I don't think there's any issues that I continue to hear compliments on the crews that are working out there and how accommodating they are. And I think it's just the fact that construction is going on, and it causes disruptions in their daily life, but that's how you have to get things fixed. And but we're doing a good job of communicating like y'all are doing. I think gets us past a lot of that.
Judge, there was at the beginning, I promised all of them at some point in time they would not be happy with us.
Yeah.
And I guess at about 50% completion is the point where they're not extremely happy anymore.
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience. There is no doubt about it.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you. Any questions for Zane?
Hey, Zane, have we heard any update on Thompson Road Bridge?
Yes, we are very close to finalizing the negotiations for the right-of-way for that one and 7 Mile.
Good. And then we'll have Historical Society, is that, or?
We did get approved antiquities permit from the Texas Historical Commission.
Yeah.
So that's good news. And so now that we have that, we're just pretty much waiting on right-of-way. Once we get the right-of-way, then we will advertise the construction plans for bidding.
Great, thank you.
And this is probably a good time to mention that as we prepare to sell our next set of bonds out there, looking on what would be, where funds are needed in a short term, very quickly, like this year or starting in the next year, those will be considered at that time as part of our bond offering. Okay, anything else? All right, is there a motion to approve the engineering report for recording purposes?
I approve motion.
Second.
All right, motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next going to item M3, County Veteran Service Officer, Steve Hernandez. Morning, Steve.
Hello. Good morning, gentlemen. Well, aside from the regular, I guess the state mandate that we do for claims, I guess from a community standpoint, the flavor of the month this month is we're having a trend of bad conduct discharges that are kind of consuming a lot more time because it's either a discharge that has now left them without any benefits. And so what we're trying to do is see how we can at least get some humanitarian service for health care if it happens to be mental health or if it happens to be an injury sustained because of their bad conduct discharge. A lot of times they're not allowed into the system except for mental health if it does happen to show that it was a mental health injury. So we're trying to get that overturned so that we can get other benefits such as maybe compensation. But it's kind of becoming more and more difficult because we're getting more and more of transient veterans that are coming from out of other counties, other states, and staying here temporarily because of either the VA services that are here or in Temple. And then once all that kind of shakes out, they end up leaving. So we put some resources and some dedication into it. But then again, we really don't know if they're going to stay. We do try to get them stabilized with housing or a homeless coordinator with the VA, with also the city of Waco. But there again, it's still a matter of what they want and how they respond to all what we're trying to offer. They come into the one stop. That we do have clothes. We give them clothes. We give them food. We feed every Thursday. So it's just an ongoing issue that seems like that's a trend right now that I just don't know how you can change that because they just happen to be transients a lot of times. We have had a couple of veterans that we've had to send to acute psychiatry because of suicide, I don't want to say attempts, but more or less outcries. They were in the office, so we made sure and got them the help that they needed. That's where one of the challenges was that he was not registered and eligible. So we were able to get him in under a humanitarian clause. Legislation, because of new administration, we're not really sure. There've been some discussion about some compensation changes that are going to be coming down regarding some of the old benefits. I think they're going to be grandfathered in. So we're kind of looking at that. And there is some legislation in Texas also involving tax exemptions. And I did get a notice from the County Veterans Association about a possible bill that's going to be presented regarding veteran service offices and how the state is trying to integrate some sort of, I don't want to say authority, but some sort of involvement in what we do also. So anyway, I just, other than that, we're just blowing and going. Whoever comes in, we take care of them, try to get them stabilized, try to get them the help they need, and families also. So we're just with the therapists that are there, with the community-based operations that we have there at the One Stop with Behavioral Health Network, and then of course what we do now with how we've expanded also, and not just a claim office. We're handling a lot of other stuff.
Any questions?
November, your out-of-county was unusually large, but it was asterisk, and said that you helped the VA with OTED. What is OTED?
That's right. Good question. It was the joint agreement or partnership that they had come down from Washington, D.C., and they did a homeless event that involved a regional, I guess, marketing effort. And so we did have a lot of other veterans that came in, and we helped coordinate at the convention center. We were there also for claim assistance, but then also at the One Stop.
Okay.
We had one day where we had everybody come there, and we were also there with the VA. And what it was it was an attempt by the VA to show that claims can be done rather quickly. And so it was an event that I feel like served its purpose for them, but for us, once they left, we got saddled with the same old.
Same old, yeah. Yeah, they're in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's a good point. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
I've visited the One Stop numerous times, like you know I have, and I love it, what you're doing there, and I hope you continue your service. And my wife's a VA nurse now, and she pours her heart out to the veterans, and I do appreciate what you do, Steve.
Well, we do what we can. I'm telling you, it's very disheartening sometimes when you go all day and you work with a veteran, and then all of a sudden the next day he's gone.
Yeah, you know, and I've stopped and talked to some that are holding a sign. I'm a veteran and I'm homeless, and I said, well, look, we have some opportunities for you here. Well, I want to be homeless, you know. So, you know, it's a hard battle to
Yes, it
fight,
is.
and I know it's difficult for you, but we appreciate
It is
it.
challenging, especially when you do everything you can to get them furniture,
Yeah,
get them everything that they need, and then all of a sudden,
they're gone. Yeah, well, don't give up.
no.
Definitely a population that's hard to,
A lot of addiction, a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of trauma. Military sexual trauma also has to be included in that.
Sure.
Not just, war trauma or just, and then just a lot of mental health issues also.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve Steve's report for recording
A
purposes?
motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion, second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. Thanks, Steve.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next is maintenance of equipment. I think Captain Nixon's going to cover that for us.
Morning, Judge.
Morning, Commissioners.
The report you have in front of you covers November 24 through January of 25. Radio shop, jail repairs, we did 47 work orders. Radio repairs and tower project, 55 work orders. Equipment install, removal, repair, 51 work orders, and special project, 24 work orders. Sign shop in November did 3 sign orders for 2 departments with 21 signs. December, 4 sign orders with 3 departments for 39 signs. January, 5 sign orders, 3 departments for 55 signs. And vehicle maintenance in November, we worked for 5 county departments, 84 work orders with 12,383 spent in outside repair costs. December, we worked for 5 county departments with 90 work orders with 31,709 in outside repair costs. And in January, worked for 7 county departments, 81 work orders with $7,808 in outside repair costs. Keep in mind, a lot of those outside repair costs, the higher amounts are accidents. You know, that includes our repairs at body shops. So That's some of our higher amounts. Some of the concerns we're having with the increase in tariffs going on, what's that going to do to our costs for parts as well as vehicles in the upcoming rest of this year and next year as well. So that's kind of one concern we're thinking about, just, with a lot of our automotive parts coming out of Mexico. Another thing I'd like to just put on the radar is the fact that, we have one county mechanic that services all of our departments and all of our vehicles. Our fleet has grown, over the past, since we went to one mechanic. So we might need to look at in the future budgets is getting a second mechanic, because we're servicing and maintaining, 230-ish county vehicles between all the departments. And it's getting to be a lot. Tan also is our county mechanic, but he also covers our sign shop as well. So with those two duties, he stays pretty covered up. So that might be something we need to look at. And then the other thing is, he's looking at retiring in the next few years, and I don't want to be caught without a mechanic
Yeah.
when he decides to leave. So
How much outside
repair work.
do we do?
So
So,
I can tell you, in-house, we do all of our brakes, all of our oil changes, all the smaller, easier to do stuff. A lot of our outside repair work, is covered under our factory warranties, so there's, that doesn't cost us money, but it does cost us money in time moving vehicles back and forth to repair shops around the county. But then anything internal with the engine, internal with transmission, that type of stuff, air conditioning work is done at outside repair.
well, I think that always comes in discussion on rolling stock, how often we do the turnover. And if we go longer, like we've had to do in the past because of various reasons, what we pay for.
Yes, sir. And I will say our fleet is getting in much better shape than it was a couple of years
should be.
ago. This year in the auction, we got a lot of those high mileage vehicles out. By the time we get our patrol vehicles in specific in this year, that's going to let us push a lot of those rest of the high mileage vehicles that we have.
Right.
Trying to get those gone away from the county by 150,000.
Yeah, so that was gonna be one of my questions. Did we get stuff in the auction? I know has the auction happened?
Yes, sir. It's happening currently.
I thought it was, because your amount of vehicles parked out there by the jail has gone down
Yeah,
quite a bit, yeah.
And then we'll have more vehicles available for auction in next month as well that we're stripping now.
Yeah, okay. And then are most warranties based on miles or years or both, or?
So both. If we buy it under a government fleet program through the big three, Ford, GM, Ram, we get a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, whereas standard is 5-year, 60 if it's a civilian purchase. So I urge all county departments to make sure they're buying it through a government fleet program, because that extra 40,000 miles saves us considerable amount of money on those powertrain warranties.
Okay.
Have we ever looked at extended warranties?
Well, you really,
Would we get our money back?
I don't believe so, because beyond 100,000, you don't get the extended warranties are very expensive, because they're
Probably
anticipating.
Probably $3,000 a vehicle or at
Yes,
least.
sir.
Yeah.
Or more, yes, sir.
I didn't know if you, okay. Ken, I think, wanted to throw something in.
Oh, I was just
Throw it in,
gonna say, keeping in mind that there are entities that have been asking for Tahoes, if we ever have any that are acceptable for transfer.
How you tell them to get in line now over there?
No, I understand.
Most of the Tahoes that we got rid of, or all of the Tahoes we got rid of this past auction, were close to 200,000 or over 200,000 miles, and, bad transmissions, just a lot of trouble with them.
And I just don't, to me, it doesn't sound like a good policy to transfer a problem from one department to another.
No, sir.
Sure.
And, so.
It still costs the county money when we're.
Still costs you
Yes, sir.
money. You're not saving anything by giving somebody a wore-out vehicle. It's not saving them any money.
Right.
Okay?
We looked at buying local on some trucks, And there was a little bit of price break. I think Ken saw it. It was a little bit better, but then you don't get that warranty too, like you're talking about, so.
Okay, any other questions, comments? All right, is there a motion to approve the maintenance of equipment report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Pass. Thank you. All right, next is maintenance of buildings, call on TJ.
Well, actually, in purchasing next.
Oh, is it purchasing?
Purchasing next.
I'm sorry.
M5.
I jumped one, I'm in a hurry. Okay, M5, purchasing, Ken.
Ken.
I just want to say, just from the get-go, purchasing been very busy. I mean, but I think all of us have, but we were very busy working on bids that were using the ARPA funds before the time ran out in December, and that was to get the bids done, get them awarded, getting contracts signed. So but we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, so I'm proud of that. Let's see, I was very happy to see the tower at the Heart of Texas Fairgrounds to come down, and that was a show if you missed it. It was fun to see it topple. I do want to point out that right now during legislative session, we have there's actually several bills that are addressing our bid limit and trying to raise it up to $100,000. I think when you look and see that if you want to buy a pickup and it's over $50,000, I think that we do need that bid limit increased. I guess the only bid right now that I wanted to point out that we're working on and actually have it advertising already, even though I was requesting advertising today, is a hazard mitigation plan update that I'm working with emergency management to get that goal accomplished. So if that's the main things I wanted to point out. If there's any questions that you have, I'd be glad to answer.
This may be a question for a later date with the engineering, but at some point, I'd like to know how we're doing with the old Springfield Road, how close that is to fruition and so forth.
Well, it's just now getting started, so.
Just the construction on it just now getting started.
Right.
Did they give a estimated completion date?
We have an estimated date, but I don't recall what
That's
that
okay,
is
that's
offhand.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
we set a time frame.
That just seemed like
on
a
it.
project that just kept on giving.
Yes, yes. We had a number of days that they were allowed to complete that
Right.
project.
I'm just curious
Yeah.
where we were with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
there's a lot of, and again, a lot of it's under Zane's purview.
Right, yeah, that, like I said, that might have been an engineering question,
Yeah.
and we'll get to that later, so.
I think it's in his report, maybe just one he's working on, but
Yeah,
anyhow,
yes,
yeah,
sir,
we can
it
get more
is.
detail on that.
Yeah.
All right.
As, Old Springfield Road, we got,
There it is, right
Fern
there.
Valley, we got,
Under utilities, consultant, completed design plans to extend awarded dimensional contracting. It says we're gonna use ARPA funding, so
yes,
another one of those deals where we're gonna stay on top of it, I guess.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
How are you coming on? I know the automobile sales, getting those into auctions, a big deal. There's also all this other stuff that builds up that ends up getting in our storage.
Well, I've got, as soon as we got one going, I have my people working on the next one. So we're working on the next auction right now.
Okay.
We're trying to clear out dire emergency clutter.
Yeah.
And so we're working through this past, it doesn't do well to try to hold an auction like November through December. So we do run a little bit behind, but I'm trying to get that caught up. So we're working through that. But this is a pretty good-sized auction, a lot of vehicles on this last one. And for the jail, which we were trying to address. We got a lot more stuff out at the jail that we're going to try to address and get out of there. But again, our area down at Cobb's, trying to get that cleaned back up and had conversations on that, so.
Okay, good. As I've said many times, space is valuable, and putting
Yes, it
junk in
is.
space, in valuable spaces, need to keep that to a minimum, and I know you're trying to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we are.
All right. Any questions? All right. Is there a motion to approve purchasing's report for recording purposes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Under M6, maintenance of buildings, TJ Jackson.
Yes, we have before you my typical quarterly report. We wrapped up a couple of exciting projects, one being the insurance roofing project, so that one went extremely well. We'll actually have some warranty walks on it next week, after, depending on how the weather turns out. The bank building make-ready went good, so we got ankle monitoring all moved over and settled in. The same thing with hot checks, so that's all been great news. The jail roofing project, I've got it at about 90%. It's actually at about 98. They are wrapping it up, should be finished up hopefully by the end of this week, depending on what this weather does to us. It may drag on into next week, but hopefully not. We've got a few exciting projects that are still in the design phase that we're working through, and a lot of moves kicking off. So we are paddling the hardest that we can right now to keep our heads above the water. But all in all, things are going well. Any questions from you guys as far as what we've got going on?
I know there's plenty. So, do you have any open positions, or you pretty well done on that?
We do not. We have been fully staffed now for several months. So we've been thankful for that. And, thanks to the SO for working with us on getting the inmate program back up and running. That has been a huge help, especially whenever it comes to all these moves. Any given day, we can have 2 to 4 inmates helping us out with these moves, and that's tremendous. So thanks to those guys.
You bet. I think the taxpayers appreciate that too, so. All right.
Absolutely.
Any questions for TJ? All right. Is there a motion to approve TJ's report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second.
All right. I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. All right. I'd like to go to M7, pretrial services. We have Mr. Judge.
That's good
Judge
time.
Virgil Bain. So,
In person.
morning.
Morning. Pretty much the same since the last, I mean, there's no big changes or anything going on since the last report. Of course, the big thing that everybody's concerned about is the possible legislation regarding bail. Of course, nothing's been passed yet, but that's a big concern. And I'm sure the jail's concerned about it, because if they start not granting certain crimes, making them eligible for bail, that's going to increase the jail population.
Right.
Also, IT will be involved because they're wanting to incorporate the public safety report system to work through the jail system and to integrate with all the counties' computer system or whatever. So that's going to be something that may be happening too. Now, some of this bail stuff is going to require a constitutional amendment, which, if they're going to deny bail to certain people for certain things, because, the Constitution says for capital murder. So that will.
It's limited to capital murder, is what you're saying.
For the most
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
right. So if they're going to try to restrict bail or not allow bail on other things, it's probably going to take a constitutional amendment, which the voters will have to vote on.
So that would extend the time that the decision's made to November, or what?
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be on the
It'd have to be
November
voted
ballot.
on in November.
So it'd be, okay. So, we can anticipate it could be a budget impact, at least at the jail for,
And
Yeah,
I did notice,
if there's any type of bail reform, I mean, there's most likely it's gonna
Negatively. impact.
negatively
Amen.
fiscal,
Yeah.
financially affect us. We're gonna be paying more.
I did notice in the committee's report, the committee added to Hoffman's bill, and I did notice in that report that they said about making possible grants available to counties to implement all that, and then it said if the money's allocated for grants. So they're not saying,
Don't they have to provide a price tag when they do certain bills pass, don't they? Isn't there a price tag that that's asked to be figured on what the cost is of implementing certain?
oh, I don't know, I wouldn't know that.
I was thinking. they
Sometimes,
usually add a
yes, yeah,
price tag.
there is sometimes,
there's supposed to be an impact study.
right.
Right, impact.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it's SJR 5, and I'm looking at it now. I don't see where it's in. Where is it?
Well, I can pretty well guarantee if it gets to an initiative that's on the ballot in November, it'll get passed.
Most likely.
Yeah,
Our
because-
propensity for passing things in Texas is pretty strong.
Yeah. If they think it increases public safety,
Yeah.
then,
They don't worry about the price tag.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll just have to adjust. If
See
it
where it goes.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Any questions?
Appreciate you,
All
Judge.
right, thank you, Judge.
Yeah, this was a situation where you guys are going late enough in the morning, and I was able to finish all my arraignments this
Yeah.
morning to be able to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right, is there a motion to approve Judge Baines' report for recording purposes?
So move.
Second.
All right, motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass.
It's called a fiscal note.
Yeah.
Yeah, fiscal
And there is
note. I
one
knew-
on it.
There is one?
Boy, this is ridiculous.
Okay, under M8 is Health Services Monthly Activity Report. Heather Travers.
She's in jury duty today.
Says she won't be in court.
Oh, okay,
She's in court, but a different kind.
okay.
Motion to approve the health services report.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Pass. All right, going to item M10. This is Information Technology Monthly Activity Report called on John Carter.
John Carter.
John Carter.
John Carter.
Called 3 times if you didn't show.
Contempt, is that a contempt after that?
Yeah.
Everybody was so short, mine will be a little bit longer.
What?
Try to keep it short, I promise. So this will, the report for IT will be October through December 2024, Q1 of 25. in other words. So I just want to talk very quickly in the highlight section. The Office 365 rollout, we went out to 1,000 users in December. We've got almost all those done. So there's only about 150 people left in the county that don't have the G3 license, and that'll be next year, next November, December timeframe. And that's, of course, to get the licensing, get the value out of the current licensing we have for Microsoft. Excuse me. So a couple of exciting things that happened, a few things. Archives moved into their offices in Q4, or Q1 of 25, November, I believe it was. We did talk about, at some point, the commissioners and the judge coming over to take a walk through there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still wanted to do that.
Yes, sir, yeah.
If we wait maybe another month, you can do that and IT all at once.
Okay.
Wednesday or Thursday this week?
Come on over. They'd be glad to host.
18 degrees.
We can walk, we can walk
Walk.
briskly,
But we'll work with your office, Judge, to arrange that.
okay?
And, excuse me, finish the HR multipurpose room, the audiovisual project there. That's been wanting for some time, and now it works great. We've used it a few times. The Tyler project, so we had a go-live, the jury, they sent out their first summonses in November. And now in January, they've had their first, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5.
And it's going well?
It's going well.
Super, good,
Working out the little bugs in there, but we'll get that all worked out.
good, good, good.
And then the Enterprise Mobile went live for the sheriff's office records. So they had 3 shifts go live in December and 1 go live in January. So that's fully operational now. They can write citations on their iPhones and all sorts of neat stuff. And because before they were translating it to the records clerks, who were then entering it into EDOC. Pretty convoluted process. Now they can do it on the spot.
Good.
Hiring wise, so we had 3 openings, but all 3 were filled in October and November, as you saw on there. So we only have 1 opening now, which is our office coordinator position, which we're currently interviewing for.
Okay,
Challenges, which is not a challenge as of hopefully in a couple of weeks, but the IT office space is very tight over there. But that's one thing I would call out the commissioners and judge for. We really appreciate that you all solve that problem for us. In the next few weeks, we'll be moving over. We've already got a few folks in the building. We're moving in stages because maintenance is very busy and can only help us out, certain times. And there's very minor construction we need to do over there to make it work for our people.
good.
And of course, the decreased demand for project management services. That's it's been quite busy, as you probably saw from the project list there. We
Yeah.
got quite a bit going on.
It is.
Now, I listed a lot of other things in the report I won't go over here, and the reason I won't is they're all pretty equivalent. What I always try to give you is 1 quarter versus the next quarter, and to see if there are any trends, right, if things are trending up or down. Things are very, very common, very stable. They've been, you can see from the graphs, they all look very similar. So nothing really to go over there. The first thing I'll highlight is in a trend that did change, but it's fairly obvious why it changed. Our top 10 pages visited on our website. Not usually one of our top 10, but elections were 4 of our top 10 pages, which you can imagine why in November. Polling locations, general election, election information, election results, of course. Not a surprise.
Where is that now, on what?
I'm not sure what page it is on yours, but it's under, there's requests by department, and then it's the next section.
Okay,
It says website.
okay. Well, it's good that people were going there trying to find that information, though, I guess, isn't it?
Yes, I showed certainly a lot of interest in this election, which is good. Our accessibility is still in the top 10% of clients, so that's nothing changed there, nothing changed on our website. We are showing internet. If you look at the internet one, it's slightly increased October, December, and we think that's probably due to starting doing the Tyler projects, because those are all cloud-based, so I think we're going to start to see a rise in internet usage. The sheriff's office records, not the Enterprise Mobile, which already went live, but their records, part of that goes live on April 29th. The constables and their civil process will go live in August. So we'll just start to see, I think, the internet just increase and increase. And we'll be talking, of course, at budget about that. The cybersecurity, we're at 57% of our employees have done their annual training. That's pretty much on par for this time of year. We're trying to get everybody to do it earlier and earlier, but
And
there's always going to be the ones that
don't
wait
look
till
at
the
me
end.
like that.
Well, I wasn't going to say it.
I've taken that all my career,
He
so.
can get us both in the same
Okay.
view.
Our tickets, there's one called a yearly service ticket comparison, and what we're doing is tracking how many help desk tickets we get year over year. As you can see, it trended up the year I got here in 23, but now it's starting to trend back down, which is a good sign. Q1, October through December, was only 1,705, so if you extrapolate that, that'd only be about 6,000 tickets over the year. Ideally, I'd like to say it's hopefully our policies are working now, that things are working a lot better. The Commissioners Court's been a good partner in that and allowing us, as Commissioner Wilson pointed out during the break, our budget's bumped up a little bit the last couple of years. Yeah. But that has modernized our infrastructure and our software, and I think that's what's leading to a lot of this not having so many tickets. Ideally, we keep that trend going and lower the ticket count so that we're not adding people, obviously. And people's stuff is working and not being without their equipment they need to work. Are there any questions on the IT portion? I'll move on to archives real quick.
Any questions?
Nope.
If not, we can come back to it, but go ahead with the archives.
Okay. So archives, there's one big project, the info links, which if you remember, you all approved a $1 reserve for a possible clerk. We still don't see the need at this point in the Q1, so I think we're going to still table that one. Because we were able to do an extract out of the old EDOC and gave them a digital list of some of these things, so they weren't having to enter them all manually. That sped up this process quite a bit. After this next quarter, we'll reevaluate, but we're doing good at this point on getting that project done. And the one thing I'll point out with them, our net space change, which it means the linear feet of space we have available in the archives, has gone down by 249 feet. So we have 8,946 square linear feet of space left for storage. A decent amount, but obviously we have to keep our eye on that. Cutting out the offices down there obviously took out some space, but we should regain that once we do it. On the second floor, we're looking at that same renovation that's been in the plan for years of opening up that space so it's a big square space we can put nice file storage in. Once we do that, I think you should see that jump up. And that's all I have. Like I said, the one opening, and I'm not sure, pursuant to your question earlier, I don't think there's much more the commissioners or the judge could do. Commissioners Court's been very good. I know we've obviously recognized we were a little bit behind when I got here, and that has all been working out, as I would say, the money's been put where it needs to be, and I think our folks have been very efficient with it, so I think we're working very well.
Yeah, good. Well, it's encouraging to hear that also archives is getting more efficient in space and those kind of things. And maybe some decisions we can make to give them more space for too long, so.
Yes, and that InfoLinks project will be key to a lot of that because the departments, once everything's in InfoLinks, then these departments that have those files can look on their own computer and request those files instead of having to send, the requests over to them and manually look for these files, in the stacks.
Yeah.
So once they're barcoded and everything, it'll be a much more efficient process, and we'll be able to get people files even quicker.
Okay, good. All right, any questions? Not, is there a motion to approve John's report for recording purposes?
So moved. Second.
Have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Pass. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
All right, next is Human Resources. Anna?
So I just will run through some of those trends or things that kind of stuck out from this current report. And so it's kind of like a good news, bad news situation. We have this last 2024 calendar year closed out at a 5-year low for turnover, which is great. We have have a recent spike in current vacancies, so we are currently trying to tackle those through advertise. We did a campaign earlier this month through Google Ads, and we'll be running another one here pretty soon to just try to get applications in for the postings that we have active. We have a current vacancy count of 89 positions, and that's just a combination of higher than normal separations combined with our normal hiring slow down over the winter months. So that's November through January. We tend to see a slowdown in hiring there. Although we did not see a slowdown in applications received, which is great. And so we have hiring currently scheduled. We have interviews scheduled right now, and so we're hoping that vacancy count will decrease soon. This past period, we also saw the implementation of the new step pay plan for the sheriff's office. That implementation was completed, and then we also, our department was featured in County Magazine for the AI tools we're using through recruitment. That was the winter 2025 edition. So that would be the Google Ads and streaming radio. Those platforms that we use, pretty much, we upload a few images and scripts, and the ads kind of, through their AI tools, craft themselves or design themselves, and we get a few options to choose from. So they're effective and easy to use. Yes, sir. Ed, any questions for me?
Questions?
Where's the, I looked at the report, but I can't remember, but where's the most openings at on the 89? The jail, I'm
It'd be
sure.
the jail, and then from there it's juvenile, and that's typical.
Typical, yeah.
And then I know the jail has a concurrent recruitment campaign going on. It's set to close here at the end of this month through RCI. And so they're kind of a recruitment agency that funnels applicants our way. So that's in progress, and we've been helping them monitor that to be sure that it's effective and flagging them like, hey, this is how many applicants we've received so far from that RCI group.
Do y'all go out to many career fairs, I mean, the sheriff's department, or do you go with them, or how does that work? Or is it just your department mainly?
Yeah, we actually have partnered with the sheriff's office. I think we just did one in the fall with.
Yeah.
We asked one of them to come with us because it helps when they see someone in uniform.
Oh, yeah.
And so they'll go in.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a part of that a lot, and it seemed to really get some good
We had good
folks out there.
traction at the fair at the convention center.
Y'all do Yes Expo.
Yeah.
Yes, with the youth.
Yes.
Yeah.
SO's has a good presence out there.
We go to the workforce events that are held at the convention center, not at their facility. And we did see some traffic there.
I know this is maybe a bit sheriff's department question, but it used to be back in my day, they wouldn't hire anybody at the jail unless you were 21, but it's 18 to be a jailer. Has that changed now, or?
It's 18 and up for the jail. It's still 20,
Excuse me.
21 and up for juvenile.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
With the outside third-party vendor helping recruit, plus what y'all are doing, plus the new step plan or pay plan, I'll be curious in a few more months' time to see if there's any residual effect of all of that as far as those open positions.
Yes, we'll be following that trend closely because we're looking forward to those results as well, having a good year of recruitment campaigns with those new figures being advertised.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, is there a motion to approve honors report for recording purposes?
So move.
Second.
That motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
you.
Thank you. Under,
We've got the coughing side over here now.
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry about that.
I need to move over here a little.
Too late.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, all right, specialty courts, programs, monthly activity report, call on Amy Lowry. She get her sound fixed?
Multiple microphones
Okay, no problem. The report's there, if anyone has any questions, please, let Amy know, and then she'll respond to those, and otherwise, her motion to approve her report for recording purposes.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. All right, I think that concludes all the department head reports.
M12, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Sure.
thank you.
Are we sending to us?
Yeah,
They sent those, out to us.
okay,
Motion to approve.
pardon me?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion, and I'll second, approve AgriLife's report for recording purposes. No discussion. If any questions, we'll address those to Dr. McLennan. And all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Pass. All right. Does that clean up everything except, okay. Okay. I'd like to go go into executive session under items R2, or excuse me, section 551.072 of the government code. Ken, you need to study regarding real property.
Ken, you need to stay.
And I'd like to ask Dustin Chapman, Ken Bass, TJ, stay in. It shouldn't take very long, and then when we come out, I don't think there's any other action items, and we will adjourn at that time.
I need to leave Commissioner on.
Recording stopped.
It's automatic. We'll see if it Judge, Administrative Judge Kelly.
Recording in progress.
Have they,
I don't think it's official.
have they hired somebody for that? Did they?
No.
Okay.
That position hadn't been named yet?
No, sir.
Any idea on timeline?
Well, I thought it would already happen, but they still interviewing.
They had the interviews, yeah.
3 applicants. Yeah. Okay, let's call court back into session. All right, anything else to come before the court? Did we cover all the agenda items? We did? Okay. If there's not anything else to come before the court, we stand adjourned. You want to go in that building?
Recording stopped.
mean, it's
go
just,
in. I'll just swing by there and see how bad the parking.